Round number 18. Here we are one step closer to the end of the season. 18 and then 19, 20, 21, 22. It's coming up very quickly. The season is almost at the end. I believe we do have a champion as of today, or maybe by the end of the race. Envy, if he just scores 1 point, he will be declared the Bwoah Racing League season number 6 World Drivers Champion. So yes, all he has to do is keep it on track, score a point, and the win championship is his. Round number 18 brings us to the Hungarian GP. Here we are at the Hungaroring. Who will be the one to be able to conquer this high downforce track? Last time out in the low downforce arena of Monza, well, we had a first time winner in the form of, well, I don't know, I forgot, Mr. Envy once again as usual. So I wonder if Envy will be able to repeat his feats this time around. Let's see. Let's see if someone else is able to step up to the challenge and take him down. Perhaps Levi could slay some titans in this league. Perhaps Sicknick, who has been having bad luck after bad luck in the previous races, would have some going his way today. 18 minutes of short qualifying today. Let's see who's the first one out. My bet it's gonna be one of the horses. And joining us shortly later today, before the race starts, will be our usual partner in the comms box, the texter, Sartak, who will be here shortly. So in the meantime, you know, we don't miss you, but we'll love to hear you out. Big Man Joe in UK, setting the tradition as usual, going on the intermediates already. And there you go, prediction went right. It's a horse who went out first. I would have betted my life on that. Let's not go into those territories just yet. Hard tires for Streeter on the qualifying lap. Interesting choices there. So perhaps some last minute practice, maybe getting used to the track, or saving a set of mediums and softs for the race. So let's see if he would put a bang of a lap towards the end. Oh yes, exactly, Dylan. Thank you for reminding, and the usual, just some Pepega moments here in the comms box. Okay, there we go. And nothing happened in the last minute or so. I was not talking about who went out first and who I betted my life on. Here we are, back in the qualifying. 15 minutes, 16 minutes to go with outlaps are done. And we have the first runner out on track, Sicknick, going on his, well, you can say a banker lap. And then let's ride from his offboard and see how does it tackle Hungarian into turn 3 and 4 here. Get the power down. Quick right-hander, and then towards the end of sector 1, it's a blind left-hander up here, turn 6. And let's see if it, ooh, a little bit squiggly there on the entry, but manages to get it just right. Avoid that inside curve, that painted tarmac there, run it wide and into the chicane. And this is where it gets trickier and twistier by the turn, the middle of sector 2, the heart of the track. And a right-hander here. We'll see a lot of invalidations coming in qualifying and in the race, picking up track limits, warnings around there. Into the last sector here. Here comes the hairpin. How much life do you have in your tires? This is gonna determine how much speed you can carry through these corners. The last corner here, another hairpin, another 180 turn. Rounds up the last corner just beautifully. And across the line to set the banker lap, 16.7. Okay, pretty good time there. Oh, that was a front wing gone, and that is the usual suspect in the form of the Williams of UK, who was on the intermediates, setting some rubber out on track and, well, sending his front wing back to the pits. And after a 5-point turn, I think he manages to find himself pointing in the right direction once again. There's a few more cars setting some lap times. KDB 1 second off the pace. Dylan Toe has managed to set a lap time of 171, just 4 tenths below. And Kubarabi once again strong showing from the Haas pack, going 1 and 2 provisionally as the other drivers are still setting some lap times. Gouts there, slow start for him, 1.7 off the pace. Dishi, who was going for a lap there, I think he's abandoned it and back into the pits he will go. Next across the line, Streeter on those hard tires. What can he do? He's on an 18.7 so far. And there you go, more lap times are coming in. A few more drivers to set a lap time. Next to come across will be RB Ferrello, who is about to start his lap time. So let's see if he can get a good start this time around. Last time out, we had a treat of a race from RB Ferrello on the soft tires on the restart, and that was amazing to watch. This time around, what can he do? Let's see into turn 1. Again, pretty nicely done. A bit squiggly on the exit, just a little bit. You may not want to be doing that in your second and third runs. Downhill sector, we'll see a lot more overtakes coming around this part of the track in real life and in the game. It's an overtaking zone. Downhill, if you mess up the exit on the previous corner, this potentially is an overtaking zone if you get the inside right. And avoid the inside curve. Once again, runs a little bit wide. Gouts on his second attempt goes 67 thousandths behind Signic, separating the Haas pair for now. Oh, runs super wide there, RB Ferrello, a little bit cheeky with the track limits. And I wonder if that will be a lap that will be counted. Across the line, that will be almost 6 tenths off the pace so far. So no one has come close to the 16.0 mark just yet. And it's gonna take a little bit more than that to get any closer to the 16.0s to the 15s. Gouts, once again, still going out on a lap here. I wonder if he's on multiple exploration laps. KDB, after a cooldown lap, now he's into another lap over here. 1/10 of his last lap, so he's out of battery here. I don't think he's going to improve any further. Tires do go off fairly quickly around here, so 1 lap is the most you can do. Let's see who's coming across the track one more time. RB Ferrello is still out on track. Big Man Joe, one who has had a somewhat of a up and down race in the recent races, so he will be looking to get into the front 4 at the very least, where he can challenge for the win and a strong podium finish. Without his teammate today though, I wonder how much it is going to cost them in the Constructors' Championship. He's going rather slowly here, Big Man Joe. Wondering if he is just going for a saving lap, exploring the track, or taking a look at the guards, at the marshals around the track. Let's hope that's the case. And here we go, another lap time being initiated by Signic, our current P1, current provisional pole taker here. NB, interestingly, has not gone out just yet. So I wonder if that safety net that he has in the championship is prompting him to do a last to first challenge. That would be interesting to watch. Signic now coming into the end of sector 1, turn 6 coming up very quickly. Fraction, just a few thousandths, 14 thousandths up, avoids a slow moving car in the middle there, and sector 2, and he seems to be a little bit more committed this time around. Let's ride on board with him. Just marginally down on his best, and so just pushing his limits here, and a few more corners to go. One here and then one more coming real quick, a little bit wide there. Missed the apex, missed the corner, and he abandons the lap immediately. So that might have been a slow lap from Signic. Nevertheless, a beautiful attempt there to get a lap time on the board. Still no one closing in even on the 16.5s just yet. So let's see, Dylan Toe Now Dilento, his teammate Streeter, who is coming across the line, will be setting an 18.7, and well, there will be another lap started. So let's see if he can improve. Big Man Joe was still going on a little bit slow on his outlap and an outlap +1. Let's see if he can pull out something out of the bag to surprise this to go pole. Maybe it looks a beautiful lap so far. UK there finally on the soft ice, finding himself in P4. Big Man Joe across the line, 16.1. That is almost 6 tenths clear of Sicknick, sets a benchmark for the others to match, and that is closing, inching ever so much closer to the 15s. Let's see, Dilento, 6 tenths slower on his personal best, so not exactly the way you want to start your sector 1. Low on battery, so he will be looking to reset and redo his lap times coming into the next lap. So RB Ferrello, who will be coming across the line, no, decides to box, invalidated his current attempt. And we have KDB and Gouts, the McLaren pair. Well, if they wanna practice their toe, maybe it might be useful around here. Just a tenth or two on the pit straight. KDB not finding himself anywhere close to the front running pace today, so that is taking a little bit of time for him to get started. His teammate, meanwhile, Gouts, it's a good showing from him so far. Improving on his lap times here now. Sets a 1:16.7. No, that was his outlap. So. And it doesn't seem like he's going for a race lap around here. I wonder if he's turned off his magical ERS button there and just going for some race simulation here on the soft tires. Otherwise, it will be a disaster of a lap here to realize that you're not improving without any ERS usage, Gouts. So let's hope that's not a mistake from him. Sicknick now out there to find himself 6 tenths to put himself clear of Big Man Joe. Envy finally comes out as well on a set of soft tires, so he will be looking to challenge for the pole position. Big Man Joe on a 16.111. Can Envy topple that? Oh, a big snap there on the exit of turn 1. And across sector 1. This is looking like a purple sector 1 already, 27.1. So he's looking good so far to get closer to that pole position that he wants. To turn 4, aggressive on the first part of the curb. Gets a relatively better exit on the second one, and here we go once again into the twisty parts of the track, pushing the track limits once again, and here is the make or break section of the lap. Keeps it within track limits for now, and across the end of sector 2 it's gonna be a 54.1. Still looking great for at least a top 3 here, and the last 2 corners are going to decide his fate if he's going to be anywhere close. $15.7. Okay, there you go. That is the lap we have been waiting for, and Envy nails it on his first attempt, so goes almost 3.5 tenths clear of Big Man Joe. Sicknick now, who is on his next hot lap here, only, well, not even half a tenth up, so he will be looking to find a lot more time around here. Only 600ths quicker than his last time, and that only fractionally puts him still behind Gouts, so they need to be finding a lot more time. Gouts this time around, has he realized that he's out of battery this time around, or something's funny going on in the McLaren garage? I wonder, as usual. And we have a few more drivers coming across the line, maybe coming across the line. Here we have RB Ferrello, who is a 10th and a half up into sector 2. And the last 2 corners, let's see if he does it beautifully to round up a better lap. Still 1.5 seconds off pace. 3 tenths improvement will put him somewhere close to P4 and 5. And it is gonna be P5 for RB Ferrello, so it is pretty tight there from P5 all the way down to P8 and 9. A tenth or 2 might just bump you up 5 positions by the looks of it. Ooh, super wide there, super wide from Mr. Vex. Not the line you would be taking into the last 2 corners here. Nevertheless, that is an improvement from Mr. Vex, who will still get an opportunity to set 1 less hot lap if he can make it into the pits just in time. But no, he decides to pull off onto the runoff and possibly clearing the way for other hot laps from other drivers around here. So we have RB Ferrello, who's done his lap time, and we have Dishy, once again a driver who's had some ups and downs in previous races. So, oh, and that's 1 more down to add into his list of miseries. Another hot lap gone into the bin, so he will have time to return to the pits, but question is, can he get back out quickly enough with 2.5 minutes remaining?
It's anyone's guess. I think he can.
Hello Zataxter, Satek, how are you?
Yeah, mate, just in time for the final runs of most of the drivers, I'd like to think. How's it looking, Davin? I'm just jumping.
Well, and we just needed 1 run 3 minutes ago to set a 15-7. Big Man Joe looks like a strong contender for P2 today, or even P1 if he could find a lot more time in his final run. Envy doesn't seem like he's interested to go out anymore, and possibly saving a set of 2 of soft tires for later on in the race. Gouts, for once, has a pretty good showing around here. He's solidly in P3 ahead of Signic, who was looking like a pole contender early on but has dropped off the pace as the qualifying went on. So we are riding on board with Gouts, who is, well, he's on his outlap, so we can turn our focus away. And to the contender for the front row, Big Man Joe starts his final hot lap. Oh, that is Vex. That is Vex out of the qualifying. He is safely in the pits. Yes, Satak.
No, I was just about to say, looking at the stream itself, I was wondering how everybody's keeping it clean and immediately, even the thought is an impediment with the drivers, I guess. But yeah, by the looks of it, let's say about Bergman Joe as you are. What do you think, Davin, around this Hungarian circuit? How much of a fan are you?
I love it. I love it. And we were just having a little practice session with Envy, Signic and the other gang. And I'm pleased to say that Envy's living up to his expectations of 15-7 as he promised. And we might see a 15-5. He nails a perfect lap if he decides to go out. And everyone else just keeping it on track right now. Qualifying definitely a bit more important than some other tracks around here. Difficulty of overtaking just multiplies with the number of slow speed corners and high downforce that you're running around here. But saying that, as we have seen in real life, it's not impossible to overtake if you have a better tire life, better tire strategy going on. Big Man Joe, in the meantime, while we were waffling about tires, has set a lap time which is just half a tenth quicker, but not enough to put him anywhere close to pole position. 3 tenths off, so that will be his best qualifying position for the day. Envy sets a P1 and that will be his best. RB Ferrello now across the line to start his final lap. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think he might have invalidated his the start of his lap, so that's no more running for him. Gouts will be the next one to come across the line, a tenth and a half up in sector 2, and that is putting him ever so much closer to a P3 start around here. So last corner to go. KDB just few seconds behind him. Let's see Gouts across the line. What is this gonna be? And across the line, it's gonna be a 16-4. Just 2,200s behind for that P2, for that P3. Puts him on the second row. Nevertheless, KDB manages to improve a little bit more. Still 1.2 second of the pace. We have a few more drivers coming across, and this will be still in tow, who I think is pretty satisfied with that P3 for now.
Yeah, and Big Man Joe follows suit, which means there is no contender to pick it off with Envy today. Much like most of the races in Bwoah Racing League this season, Envy on pole position at the Hungarian GP of season 6 of the Bwoah Racing League. You look at that, 1 minute 15, the only driver to put it in the 1 minute 15s.
Yeah, Big Manjo came close but not enough, and mind you, and we set the lap time on one single run. So that's impressive. Well, the race might be a different story. I wonder if drivers are running different downforce levels, different tire pressures and setups, which may affect their race pace. Weather may come into play as well. As always, it's a mystery for us in the comms box. Sartek, your predictions?
Yeah, without a doubt. For context, for those of you watching, of course, now or even later, while it is a mystery for us, pretty much is kind of not so mysterious for the drivers, I'd like to presume. We indeed are following the same weather that's the current weather at Hungary right now, like at this point in time.
So interesting.
And maybe me and Davin aren't doing our due diligence enough. I know I'm not enough. But then again, we like that unknown. We enjoy that level of unknown in the comms box. And who knows? We do get a bit of rain. Let's hope it's raining in Hungary. Drivers aren't going to be a fan of me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure rain will just spice things up, or like in real life. Like it's a conundrum, isn't it? Like in real life, rain levels out the things, closes the gap between drivers, closes the gap between the cars. Whereas in in the virtual world, it tends to separate the men from the boys of driving per se. So if you're good, you're gonna get even better in the wets. If you're not having a good day, you're gonna have even a worse day in the wet conditions. So looks a little bit cloudy, Sartek, from here. Just some overcast weather dropping on us. Wonder if that's gonna turn into some clouds later on.
Yeah, without a doubt, by the looks of it, it could just be that on our cards, what we want in the comms box at the very least. But of course, for those of you coming in here regularly, and the drivers themselves know this, I don't think rain is really a big differentiator anymore. For the past 5, 6, or even 7 races so far, we've actually had a safety car on like with 3 laps to the checkered flag. So yeah, we technically don't need rain, but then again, let's hope it's a much more clean race this time around this Hungarian circuit. And yeah, hopefully we see all 12 drivers across the line. That'll be great.
Turn 1, as always, gonna be a point of contention into turn 1. It's possibly your best overtaking chance, so we will be seeing a little bit of desperation, a little bit of sending it down the inside, around the outside maybe. It might all happen, and then get a good run into the end of sector 1 down to turn 2 and 3. If you make a good move into turn 1, and it may go all the way down to turn 6, where it's that fast blind left-hander which may decide if you spin or if you get the overtake done. Formation lap is about to start, Sartek. Your favorite lap. Take us through it, and what's on your mind right now?
Now, I was just looking at the tire picks, and for the first time ever, I'm surprised you didn't peek in. But yeah, all mediums for the most part. Not much of a unified decision throughout the grid. Not something you see every day or every race in this case with the drivers in the Bwoah Racing League. But yeah, most of them on the mediums. I believe 3 drivers, 2 in the midfield, 2 of them being Abi Ferrero, Kuberabi on the hard tires. Streeter could have switched to a hard at the very last moment. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm just eager to see how the start goes, because we've got an outlier in the likes of Dylan Toe starting in the front 2 rows. Gouts is up there. Gouts, usually known to be the one to lift off at the start to ensure he avoids the chaos. Now he doesn't really have that option. He's fighting for track position, essentially, starting on the second row. And in the midfield, where you're expecting the thickness of the action to ensue, we got Siknik, Yuki, Abifer, and Kuberabi. KDB starting at the back along with Dishi, Vex, and Streeter. I think we are in for one hell of a race, as we are always, regardless of the number of drivers on the grid. And of course, let's not forget Streeter starting on P12. We've known him to be in the top 5 in a jiffy, so I expect to see great runs from him.
35 hot laps. Well, hot laps as in, hot tires are going to be, rubber's going to be burning
Without a
everywhere
doubt.
on the track. And not exactly the kind of hot lap you'd be doing. You'll be going slow and slow as you go. On that note though, Dylan Toe says it is one of his favorite tracks. So P3, a good showing from him. And he would love to turn this into a podium or a win. That will be a cherry on top of the cake. Maybe even a cream on top of the cherry on the cake. Or some icing on top of the cream on top of the cherry on top of the cake. That's a lot of cake going on because I am getting hungry from all this action that is about to ensue. Medium tires, as you said, a selection for most drivers. I'm assuming, perhaps the mediums would not go a long distance if there's a safety car around the middle of the race. Hence why a medium hards might be the strategy of choice. Nevertheless, safety car will always throw a spanner in the works. Let's get started. 5 lights will be coming on as soon as Streeter, the last driver on the grid today, lines up into his grid box. And once again we have Envy who will be starting race. 5 lights are coming on. 3, 4 and 5, and we wait for them to go off, and it's a quick 5 lights and away they go, and into turn 1. Envy seems to have gotten a much better start. Sicknick from P5 makes it all the way up into P2. Gouts, known for his slow starts, but he has made it up into P4 as well. So good start so far. Clean start from everyone into turn 3 and 4. Big Man Joe fending off Sicknick already. And that is a spin already. Dylan Toe sending Gouts into a spin. Not a good start for the McLaren pair.
Yeah, and in his ambition to climb up the grid, having lost about 4 positions at start, Dylan Toe takes out Gouts, literally takes out, went into the rear of him. Not the greatest sights. I think Gouts is taking it easy, seeing that the front 2 runners ahead of him were actually fighting it out. But what a phenomenal start from Sicknick. If it's anyone, it's him who got that glorious start, as we talked about. RB Fellow up at a P5. UK Mr. Wex as well. Phenomenal starts from them. Streeter didn't have the best. McLaren's facing the short end of the stick, right? P11 and P12.
Yeah, hard tires as we expected. Not going to be the best off the line. Somehow, RB Fellow made it through cleanly, and he is sticking in the train so far. That's what he'll be needing. McLaren pair of KDB and Gout seem to be catching up to this slow-moving train at the start, so they might be doing that as soon as they can. And that is a car hitting into the pits already, and that is Streeter. I wonder if that's some wing damage on his car. That's some swapperoo going on there into turn 3 here, turn 2 here. UK and RB Fellow down the inside on the harder compound of tires, has to yield the position. UK takes a wider line and goes through. Next up is his teammate. Oh, RB Fellow, that was so close to hitting the walls. Hands the position freely to Mr. Wax. 5 and 6 for the Williams pair right now.
Yeah, you'd think these gaps stay as small as they can, at least in the first couple of laps, where you can already see them extending to over a second, especially that gap between Envy and Big Man Joe. No surprises there. Envy known to pull away at the start. Sicknick's keeping up with Big Man Joe as he'd like to. Dylan Toe has come back and put himself in P4. Gouts, I'm pretty sure he's not got a smile on his face, let alone KDB. But yeah, I'm surprised Streeter really couldn't make the jump on even a single driver on lap number 1. Given that he has hard tires, you'd think that comes as no surprise, but knowing Streeter, at least I'd like to think he's ambitious regardless of his tire choice. But yeah, everything stands as it is. Lap number 3 as it begins, and we leads this race. I had a Big Man Joe Sicknick in the top 3.
Yeah, starting to pull away a little bit, and we half a second clear of Big Man Joe, so that DRS train might be broken from the start itself. Sicknick keeping himself in the train. Dylan Toe, UK, everyone doing their best to catch up, and I'm pretty sure the Williams pair would like to catch up to this train before they start some team orders. We always love to see those. KDB has finally found himself at the back of Dishy, fighting for P9 here. So 3 times the gap. Oh, Dishy, he might have been disconnected there. So there you go. KDB and Gouts will be gaining a free position, and up ahead 3 seconds further will be Kubarabi, the first of the 2 horses that they might need to pass before they get anywhere close to the top 3.
The Hungarian GP to be early on. Things are getting a bit stagnant front and back, but the closest drivers to each other. Of course, Sicknick, Dylan, Toe, and Big Man Joe up in front. And as I say that, Dylan Toe's gap to Sicknick goes beyond a second. Meanwhile, at the back, Gout seems to be closing in on the Alpha Tauri. And as I say that, we realize that Dishy has disconnected, unfortunately. And Gouts will get that position easily done. And onwards he goes to close in on KDB. And they'll be hoping to pull each other towards Kubarabi as we speak.
Yeah, interesting the gap up in front though. Big Man Joe still being able to keep up with Envy. So it's a long race, like you said, Sarthak. It's a long race around here in Hungary. Tire temperatures, tire wear will be coming into play, and we will see who has the better car later into the stint. Right now, it seems everything is somewhat of a level playing field for the top, well, 6-7 drivers, everyone within a second or two of each other.
Yeah, unravel itself just like this before as well, where things start off with a relatively slow pace, and yeah, then things get really edgy. Considering one fumble means safety cars out, and next thing you know, a whole lot of drivers are heading into pits. Meanwhile, somebody else has an incident, and as I say that, Vex has a spin in sector 2. He's trying to correct himself, join back onto the track. He's fumbled once again. Goes onto the grass, back onto the track. He's lost 3 positions, if not just 1. And on lap number 4, he finds himself in P11, losing traction once again, and the rear kicks out. And he is going to try his best to nurse that car back into the pits.
Oh well, that's not the start that you'd be expecting, but someone who is finding some pace into lap 5 here is Big Man Joe. Half a second closed up in that last lap, and that brings him almost within a second of Envy. 1.1 the gap, 1.0, and it's closing down as we go through. Sector 2 seems to be a strong point for Big Man Joe, so he'll be looking to capitalize on that. Sicknick still managing to keep it close to the top 2. Dylan Toe not too far back, keeping himself safe enough from any shenanigans that might kick off up in front. UK now has closed up the gap to under 2 seconds to Dylan Toe. Sicknick, first one to pick up a 3-second time penalty, which I believe will not be the first one for all the drivers around here. Many more penalties will be coming, as it's so easy to pick up track limits around here, Sarthak.
Yeah, but without a doubt, if there's one track you don't want penalties on, it's this one, considering the huge gaps that get built up through a single lap, if not multiple laps, throughout the course of the race itself. 30 laps left, and early into this, you do not want to be picking up penalties. Shortest gap as well between the two, Big Man Joe and Sicknick.
Yeah, and well, it's been pretty stagnant for the past 2 laps. Sicknick is slowly dropping back, and he just needs to keep within the DRS range of Envy and Big Man Joe, who's starting to find, you know, half a tenth here and there each lap, and getting himself ever so much closer to Envy. And I believe once the DRS train is reconnected, we might have some action for a position change for the lead. I hope so.
Yeah, surely enough. And let's divert our attention perhaps to the hard runners. Mind you, Streeter has pitted. He's figured out that maybe hard tires wasn't the way to go. And with an early pit stop, he's on the mediums for the first time in this race. Kubarabi seems to be really getting into form. It just might have been him spending his ERS, but he's still almost level with RB Ferrero. He's within a second of the AlphaTauri driver. Now, RB Ferrero, known to make these huge climbs from back to front, much like Streeter, but more so, RB Ferrero has been the driver to be known as the last first challenger, essentially. Kubarabi consistently competent enough to go level with any one of the front runners you'd imagine. Sometimes he's on the keyboard even, if not on the sim racing wheel. So that's tip of the hat to him. Without a doubt, being on the keyboard in a game like this is you need to be a different kind of person. Wider line by Abi Ferrello, not the greatest exits through that particular corner in sector 3, and you can already see Kubarabi being as close as within a half a second of him. I'd expect this has to pull off a move.
This brings flashback to season number 5, where RB Ferrello was, defending for his life on this very same pit straight here, and he does the same. Kubarabi goes around the outside. Can he swoop around the outside? Both drivers on hard tires. RB Ferrello will not be getting DRS. It's a single detection zone into turn 2. Kubarabi finds himself just enough to be ahead, and RB Ferrello could not challenge any further. Okay, and it's task for Kubarabi to catch the soft runners up ahead for him.
Now, who would have thought the first bit of racing action we'll see around the Hungarian circuit will be between two hard runners? What a move around the outside and impeccable braking from the man in the Haas. And he's already pulled off quite the gap. I'm surprised to see RB Ferro struggling. Maybe he'll go back into the pits much like Streeter, but that's one to find out. Maybe jump back to the front runners within a second once again, Big Man Joe Venvi. I don't think he's been within a second since the start. So perhaps opportunity, but he's spent a lot of his ERS. Sector 2 yellow, and that is a Spun Williams. I wonder if it's Mr. Wex.
It is Mr. Wax who has once again lost it on the exit of turn 6 by the looks of it. Catches out a lot of drivers, and let's hold our thoughts for a few more seconds here. KDB already finding himself within half a second of RB Fellow, so within 2 laps RB Fellow might be losing 2 positions. Kubarabi has pulled away, and this might be an easy overtake coming from KDB. Tucks into the slipstream. Where is RB Fellow gonna go? Inside or outside? KDB, where are you gonna launch? Looks like he was picking on the inside. Decides to go for a better line on the exit, perhaps into turn 2. Should have gone for the move down the inside, I suppose.
Yeah, RB Ferrello's fighting back, deploying ERS as and when he can. I think KDB's game plan now needs to be trying to really make this pass as soon as possible, make the pass on Kubarabi as well. He's not too far off either, so much more of a DRS train formed for now. And as I say that, Kubarabi, okay, he's gone beyond a second. You don't want that happening, KDB. You've got to start moving now.
Yeah, while he's on the medium tires, KDB will have to make the move. It seems to be having the pace over RB Fellow, able to take tighter lines and carrying so much more speed. Oh, this is interesting to watch, beautiful to watch on the rear wing of RB Fellow. KDB ever so much closer, getting out of the dirty air to get some clean air into the next corner, taking alternate lines. You'd love to see that RB Fellow. Will he keep it tight into the next corner? Somewhat he does. And can he catch the DRS of Kubarabi to keep himself safe for another lap? No is the answer, and this might be the opportunity KDB might be looking for a second time around. Can he be a little bit more aggressive? RB Fellow deploying battery as much as he could, but no, he sees the move coming. KDB will make an easy pass on the inside, just have to keep it clean. RB Fellow tries to go for a switchback. It's not gonna work just yet.
I wonder why RB Ferrell is struggling so much in comparison to Kubarabi. He really is. You know, you see him try to weave to the right hand side of the track, try and mount a challenge onto this pass from KDB, and really, you know, hold his position. But he's unable to. He's struggling there with the hards on after just 8 laps.
Yeah, but you know, knowing the hard tires, he will be in the advantage in possibly 5 laps or so, as these mediums are gonna start to feel a little second hand at this stage. 10 laps in, it's 25 laps to go, suitable distance for the hard tires to go till the end. And any safety car now would definitely play into the hands of the medium runners, and the hard runners would not love it.
Yeah, that means RB Ferrero might just be saying it's all part of the plan. Let them make the passes now. I'll be passing them in just a bit. Let's hope it goes that way for the AlphaTauri driver. His teammates not having the best of days. Dishy down in P10. I'd expected him to reconnect at this point, but seems like that's not the case. Regardless, up in front, that gap between Envy and Big Manjo is extended beyond a second. And yeah, the closest gap, of course, KDB and Kubarabi. KDB on a climb of his own. Gauts left behind. RB Ferrero is trying to close in, trying to close that 1 second gap. Penalties remain the same. Sickrig with a 3-second time penalty. And yeah, KDB, I guess all eyes on KDB as he closes in on that Haas.
Yeah, confidence, belief, that's the name of his game today. He's been building the confidence ever since lap 1, and finally he's starting to show a bit more pace on these all medium tires, which is not supposed to be any quicker than the hards right now, but he's getting so much closer. And look at that, he just closed up about 6/10 of a gap within 3 or 4 corners.
Yeah, and onwards it goes. KDB, half a second now. You think he'd be ambitious enough to make the pass even before the main straight, but that's highly unlikely in itself. I like to think Kubarabi is ready for this challenge. If not to hold him up for a lap, but holding him up probably going against what his strategy is to begin with. Talking about strategies up in front. So then a second once again between Big Manjo and Envy. Interesting, as I say. KDB goes into a spin at the back while trying to close in on Kubarabi. Loses 2 positions in the process and all that. goes in vain, all of the work he had put in the last couple of laps.
Oh, here comes Gouts. He's going for it. He wants to go for a move now itself. Around the outside, he will go. RB Fellow takes the inside line. Very tight on the entry and compromises his exit. Gouts gets DRS on the exit. Can he challenge into turn 3? He's a little too far off.
Meanwhile, at the back of the pack, sector 2 and 3 light up yellow with a spin from Mr. Wex. Again, another driver not having the best of outings. We're back to that battle. Perhaps Gouts is going to try and attempt to make a dive down the inside, as we'd like to see at any part at this track. But going up against RB Fellow, not a small feat.
One McLaren swaps for the other. Can Gouts get it better out of that second last corner? And mount a challenge on RB Fellow. Clearly, these McLaren pair are having better pace right now. Perhaps an undercut attempt onto the hard tires to get clear of this hard tire runner RB Ferrello. 2/10 the gap. Gouts seems to be a lot more aggressive than KDB was. Into the start of sector 3. Here comes the two hairpins. Ooh, it's so beautiful to watch as Gouts takes an alternate line and so much tighter on the entry. Gets a beautiful exit and looks like this might be another attempt for Gouts. Big Man Joe, KDB now out of DRS. Gouts though in the meantime now into turn 1 once again. Gets the outside line but not close enough. RB Fellow this time gets a worse exit. KDB, no, that's Gouts once again. So much closer on the exit of turn 2 but not enough to make it out into a better position. RB Fellow has some extra battery in his reserve to defend for that position for now.
Yeah, a bit of a reminder, yellows in sector 2 and 3 is once again Mr. Wex struggling there at the back of the pack. He's been, going into spins on his own accord for a couple of times now in the last couple of laps. But yeah, he's still in the race, he's still on track. I'd be surprised if he doesn't head into the pits. But this battle between Gouts and RB Fellow is turning out to be interesting. This McLaren's finding it much more difficult. So much so, KDB, having lost those 2 positions, is now within a second of Gouts and is in this battle. I won't be surprised if they decide to swap.
Yeah, swap might be a choice here, but with both drivers having a close chance. Can we see a double move on RB Fellow into turn 1? We'll find out in 2 corners time as Gouts and KDB trying to line up RB Fellow for that P7 on the track. This time around, Gouts here seems to be a little further off, but no, he has the straight line speed. He has the attack coming once again. Can he go on the inside? Gouts thinks better of it and he will go for a switchback line, possibly for a better exit. And there you go. This might be the chance he needs. Into turn 3, gets a better exit. No, still too far off. RB Ferrello, Minister of Defense in his own terms, holding off this McLaren for now.
Yeah, make them a McLaren pair. Even KDB is not attempting to be ambitious in this fight to any right. And yeah, he's doing an impeccable job. What seemed like he was struggling, it almost seemed like Kuberabi and RB Fellow were teammates to some extent, being on the same set of tires. And really, letting Kuberabi through and making that gap count so much more. He's pulled off almost a 4-second gap to RB Ferrello, so clearly he had more pace on the hards. Up in front, it's been a switch between over a second, under a second for Big Manjo and Envy. And the back of the pack, Mr. Wex, having a dismal race. And as I say that, of course, swap it is. KDB jumps to a P8 as Gouts steers clear and will let his teammate mount a challenge on that AlphaTauri.
Yeah, KDB seems to be the faster of the 2 McLarens in the race for some odd reason. So Gouts, who was quicker in the qualifying, has somewhat lost a little bit of a touch here. Perhaps it's time for him to get on the fresh rubber and get an undercut on his teammate and RB Ferrello around here. Not close enough, KDB. Out of turn 2, maybe he'll get a move done.
Yeah, KDB's right onto the job, isn't he? He's almost within 3/10 now. And he'll be pressuring RB Ferrello into a possible mistake. Already taking a wider line, RB Ferrello. Perhaps that was the way to go. KDB got a nasty exit to his own right now within half a second, not 3/10. So yeah, it's between a 10th or 2, corner by corner, by the looks of it. Even impeccable exit for KDB. And now he's breathing down the gearbox of the AlphaTauri. Yeah, now it's a 10th, 2/10 make that as KDB to continue to stay on course with RB Ferrello. And I like to think he's going to wait to the main straight, but he's getting incredibly anxious in Sector 2. He's going to try his best to mount as much pressure as he can. Almost goes into the rear of that Alpha Tauri. Has to lift off, but he gets almost level pegging. Weaves to the right hand side of the track. Has to hold off. And main straight, you can expect this McLaren to be ahead of that Alpha Tauri. And look at that, Gouts. He's now in full contention. He is as close as he can get to his teammate. And as I say that, he's got into the rear of KDB. My oh my.
My oh my. That is not the way you want to be. You know, attempting a double move on a hard defending RB fellow who finds himself in an advantageous position of P6 right now, as Siknik is the first one to respond onto a fresh set of hard tires. Warm up on these tires will be crucial if he wants to jump the top two. Now, what are they going to do up in front? Dylan Toe, who was edging ever so closer to Siknik before the pits. 1.5 second was the gap. Now, can Dylan Toe make the overcut work and come out ahead of Siknik? It's going to be an interesting pit phase right now.
In a surprising turn of events, UK now within a second of Dylan Toe, he's really getting into groove with his mediums to some extent. After 14 laps, I think we didn't see this gap close as much as it has, but he's lost a 10th in the last sector. We'd want to see Dylan Toe make a fumble or two, but to his own right, he's got all the ERS he'd need. He's gonna have DRS on the main straight. I reckon this is going to be as easy as it comes to UK. But then again, it's been a while since he's made a pass on a driver or two. Sector 1 lights up yellow, and I believe that could have been Streeter by the looks of it. But yeah, back to the main straight. Dylan Toe versus UK. UK is going to hold back by the looks of it. Interesting.
Yeah, much better exit for Dylan Toe coming out of the last corner, but locks up a little bit into turn 1. Doesn't lose too much of a time. Siknik now, he will find himself in a little bit of a pickle here as Gauss is the next car up ahead, so his undercut attempt might be ruined by a McLaren. If he catches Gauss in the wrong parts of the track, he's gonna lose time. Dylan Toe and UK might find an avenue to jump a free position here.
1/100th of a second up this time around in the same sector, UK, and I would imagine a fight is coming regardless. How disappointing it would have been in the McLaren voice channel right now between KDB and Gouts. Without a doubt, Gouts letting through KDB and then going into the back of him, and it really did seem like opportunity for both McLarens to make the pass. But look at it now, Avi Ferrero, pretty sure there's a smirk on his face. He's got a proper gap for the back runners, for the people behind him, right? For the drivers behind him, as well as he's got clear air to a certain extent to close that gap to Kuberabi on those
Big Man Joe goes for the undercut here, so does UK and Dylan Toe responding to Siknik's undercut. So it's gonna be some collision into the pit lane. Looks like UK wanted to get the overtake done before the pit lane entry, somehow manages to avoid the back of that Alpine. And this is the interesting phase of the race. Siknik, where can he come out now? He's on the pit straight, Gouts into the pits. Siknik, well, he's clearly gone ahead. That undercut has worked out for him. Gouts pitting just at the right time, clearing the way for him. Into P5 he goes. Can he get any much closer to Big Man Joe, who's still on cold tires here? And we will respond this lap as well. It's all kicking off in the halfway point of the Hungarian GP right here.
Yeah, and if it stays the same, Envy's in cars for a free pit stop if anything, but he still needs to pull off a 3-second gap. I'd imagine 22 seconds the free pit stop, right, Davin?
Well, that might be, and we have a roadblock per se in the form of Kuberabi, who might hold up Big Man Joe, might hold up Envy as well coming out of the pits. So Kuberabi is going to play a big role for Siknik's progress in this race. So let's ride on board. Envy is into the pits already, so Kuberabi on the hard tires from the start of the race. He will be a crucial piece on the chessboard here today.
Yeah, he's coming across the final corner as we speak, the penultimate and final corner. Envy just got out of his pit box and he is on his way out of the pits. How close is this going to get? Envy just got onto the track. Kuberabi closing in. Open air for Envy and a second's gap for it as well. Or just under a second as Kuberabi closes in. But yeah, Envy still the leader of this race.
Cold hard tires versus all warm hard tires. What's gonna be the better choice here? Kuberabi attempting to overtake Envy and possibly hold him up for his teammate. looks like that plan might not go into fruition. One plan that might go into fruition is UK, who finds himself now within 2/10 of Dylan Toe after pursuing him for the last 17 laps. Their battle resumes. KDB sets the fastest lap of the race so far, so he's getting back into some groove, recovering some lost time, finds himself 2 seconds behind Gouts right now.
Yeah, the pit stop might have just been what KDB needed, and you can see him trying his best to close in. But back to that battle, UK and Dylan Toe, which started even before the pit stop. Meanwhile, Dishy in the AlphaTauri heads into the pits for a swap of tires after 17 laps on the mediums. So I am surprised how UK is still staying behind this Alpine. I'd imagined him to make the pass pretty early on. He's a 10th up once again on Sector 2.
And
It seems like that's a sector he enjoys driving.
We have Big Man Joe at the back of Kubarabi now. All hard tires are going to fall off pretty soon. Kubarabi doesn't put up too much of a defense. Big Man Joe easily through into turn 1, gets the inside line, cuts him off, and easy as you like it, P2 is his. 2 seconds the gap to Envy right now, so it's not over just yet, the race.
Yep, I was just looking at that battle ensue, Dylan Toe versus UK. As he weaves to the left-hand side of the track, he had a bit of a twist with the wheel there, UK, but he's level pegging with Dylan Toe and will be ahead as well. Contact between the two, bit of bumping in the wheels. I'd imagine Network's not their fans right now. One of them is off the coast of Africa, I'd imagine, and another is somewhere down under. And he goes into the rear of the Williams, Dylan Toe. I hope I'm seeing it the same as you are, Dalvin.
It's a little bit of bouncing going on everywhere, Sarthak, as you said. So, but Yuki makes it out clearly in front. Dylan Toe, pretty sure he's not gonna let that position go that easily. So it is still level pegging for these two right now. Guts will be the second driver of the day to pick up a 3-second penalty with his teammate closing up. I don't think that's gonna be a tough defense to put up once again.
Yeah, but I think we can ensure that this pass has been made. UK ahead of Dylan to half a second's gap being pulled away, and he's got the advantage on ERS to ensure he's going to hold on to that P6 for longer. His next objective is, of course, to close in on Sickning, who's in his own right trying to close that gap to an AlphaTauri in the likes of RB Ferrero. He didn't spend too much ERS this time around on the main straight. He wants to make a nice clean pass, perhaps without any aid of ERS or DRS.
Yeah, and well, finding himself at the back of this AlphaTauri, if there's some sort of communication relayed from the McLaren team, I'm pretty sure it's gonna say, yeah, it's a tough guy to pass. The Signet will have a hard time to get past RB Fellow here, but he has some advantage on his side with these fresher hard tires. Maybe into the chicane. No, oh, picks down the inside, puts RB Fellow offline just a little bit, and now into the middle sector here. That's where Signic will be looking to make a pass. Can he do it though? With extra grip, he's hustling RB Fellow through the corners, and this might be an overtake at the end of sector 2. No, Signic falls just a little bit behind thanks to dirty air.
Yeah, in the last corner, RB Ferrero incredibly respectful, giving a car's space, just a car's width space for Sicknick to almost be level pegging with him, but couldn't. Of course, Sicknick couldn't be that ambitious through a particular sector like that. But on the main straight, it's opportunity for him, you'd think. But RB Ferrero, calm as he comes, ERS not being deployed. Sicknick weaves to the right-hand side of the track, an easy pass down the inside, as you'd imagine from the Haas driver. But RB Ferrero will be right on back. He'll be hoping to get a switcheroo. I'd imagine, no, he's not going to fight it. He's going to hold off 20 laps on the hards, and the man keeps on going.
It's a charge that he'll have to make past to get anywhere close to the top two. Seem to be within 2 seconds of each other. Gaps not going anywhere just yet. Sicknick now has 5 seconds of clear air to get up to the position that he wants. Kubarabi will be the next driver he will need to pass. I'm assuming Kubarabi going to be pitting anytime soon to clear the way for his teammate. And we have RB Fellow falling further and further as the corners go on. Those hard tires, the old hard tires, are finally losing some edge. Dylan Toe manages to keep himself within a second of UK, so no one's running away just yet. P6, P7 for these two. Might just go on till the end.
Yeah, you'd think that UK would have pulled off a gap by now, but by the looks of it, no. And up ahead, even Big Man Joe has to hold back. As you said, the only medium runner with 18 laps out on track is straight up. Abi Ferrero heads into the pits.
Oh,
The
and picks up
AlphaTauri
a
driver.
5-second penalty for speeding. So not exactly what RB Fellow would have wished for there.
Yeah, without a doubt, he'll be hoping to make quite the climb on the mediums. He'll be coming out, I presume, behind the McLarens, or no, possibly in front, considering Gouts has a 15-second gap. He is aware deploying ERS on the main straight will come out ahead of RB Ferrer, and so will KDB. So yeah, I was right on the first regard. I should trust myself more often.
And now the chase is on, the hunt is on for RB Fellow on the softer medium tires against pretty much the rest of the grid who's on hard tires up ahead of him. So overtaking show off by RB Fellow, part number 18 I guess, since we're in Hungary. Well, we are back. We're back with some more overtaking show from RB Fellow. Maybe in a lap or two as he warms up his tires for this lap.
I wonder what the game plan is with Streeter. He's on 19 laps on the mediums. He went into that early pit stop, perhaps in lap number 2 or 3, after realizing hards was not the call for him, at least in the beginning of this race. And as I say that, the next hard runner after RB Ferrero, Cuba Rabi heads into the pits. The other Haas, as Sicknick will hop into P3.
Yeah, easy way to clear the drive, the way for your teammate. You just hit into the pits and gets a set of medium tires. Cuba Rabi, where is he gonna pan out? He's gonna be close. Gouts, KDB, and RB Fellow, the trio are heading down the pit straight here. Gouts not close enough, but with warmer tires, he will have a chance into turn 1. No, not enough just yet. Cuba Rabi will definitely find himself under attack. Gouts not wasting any more time into the attack. Turn 3, turn 4, takes a wider line, hoping for a better exit. Can this be an overtake into turn 6 or even before turn 6? It is pretty close between these two, and Cuba Rabi defending for his life. Gouts cannot find a way past him just yet.
Oh, and not again, Gouts! Not again. Contact to the rear of Cuba Rabi, much similar to the one he had on with his teammate.
Yeah, all that extra grip might have just gotten over his head, and once again he's sent someone spinning. This time around it's not his teammate, but it's the Haas of Cuba Rabi who just came out onto the track on fresh set of medium, and that's KDB who spun. KDB has spun. So what's happening to these McLarens today? Nothing is going according to their plan. Oh my, RB Fellow once again escaping with 2 free positions. Didn't even have to make an overtake.
Yeah, he was on the grass running for quite a while. My oh my, he's down in a P9 now. And Gouts is left hanging in between RB Ferrello and Cuba Rabi. Not much of a gap. That's one you keep tabs on to RB Ferrello at least. Cuba Rabi almost within a second's gap to Gouts. Won't have the air DRS on this lap. I'd imagine he will come the next.
17 seconds gap for RB Ferrello to Dylan Toe. And well, 17 seconds with 11 laps to go on medium tires. Is that possible, Sarthak? With reputation of RB Ferrello to make up positions at the end?
This would seem like a generic reply. Sector 2 lights up yellow. That's a Williams once again. That's Mr. Wex, I presume, who's back on the track, back into the race. It's always great to see drivers not retiring. But back to that question of yours. If it's anyone, it's RB Ferrello. He needs to be the one to make up gaps like that, with tires like that in this part of the race. We've seen him do it once before, more than once, being, about 6 positions down from the podium or 4 positions down from the podium with 10 laps to go. Medium tires, RB Ferrello, let's see what you got. It's been a while, hasn't it, Davin?
Been a while, and well, we didn't get the overtakes that we were expecting from him, thanks to the McLarens just deciding to hand out some freebies today. But we do find Cuba Rabi now at the back of Gouts with these medium tires. Cuba Rabi finds himself finally with those warmer tires. I'm guessing the spin helped a little bit. Oh, and that's another spin coming in from Gouts. Easy position for Cuba Rabi. Up into P7 he goes. Okay.
KDB follows suit.
Wow. What's happening there in the McLaren? In the McLaren garage? I don't think something cool is going on. And into turn 2, that is KDB who has lost his front wing on the exit of turn 1. Ay. What's
Oh,
happening?
almost impedes his teammate too. Oh my God, Gauss ran into the rear of KDB once again. They need to be incredibly cautious. Fantastic turn of events. The McLarens who were running P11, P12 arguably got the strategy on point. You'd think. They were in between RB Ferrero and Cuberabi and had that opportunity to be on fresher tires to make up a position on another. And really, once they get the hard tires, of course, a lot of heat into the hard tires. But right now, it is not looking great. P8 and P9, and KDB trying his best to nurse that car back into the pits.
Well, that's gonna set him far, far back. I wonder if he's gonna get lapped by Envy, who is just coming towards the end of Sector 1. KDB coming to the end of Sector 2. This might be close. So he's on the verge of getting lapped, and that's no way coming back into the race once that happens. Up in front, Big Man Joe, slowly falling back a tenth or two a lap, finds himself now 3.7, almost 4 seconds behind. Envy did push on that last lap for a fastest lap attempt. Signic 11 seconds off the front pair. UK and Dylan Toe closing in.
Yeah, KDB struggled to get into the pits even. He went wide, almost went into that. I don't even know what to call it, but that wall in between the track and the pit entry, clearly, it almost seemed like he was going to end up like UK back in Singapore last season. Hopefully, eventually it wasn't the case. Gets a new front wing, new set of softs in play, Davin.
Ooh.
8 laps on the board.
8 laps on the soft tires. Well, he is lapped, so there's nothing to lose and just go for it this time around. Streeter, setting a fastest lap on those medium tires as well. He's a lap down as well, so KDB might just find himself a little bit of a on-track action quite soon if these softs start to fall off. Up in front, UK now closing the gap, found 3/10 within that last lap to get a little bit closer to Signic, who himself has a 3-second penalty to his name.
Yeah, if KDB needs anything right now, it's a safety car of some sort, considering on the softs, he needs some sort of rear light, right? Otherwise, he's going to end up burning out the softs throughout catching up with cars. 33 seconds gap, if anything. If he can catch up to begin with 8 laps, about 7 laps to go, you could say. And yeah, the gaps have extended beyond a second throughout the pack. And as I say that, KDB, a bit of a twitch out of the corner, out of sector 2, goes off track for a brief moment, almost went onto the grass, but back onto track, and onwards he goes.
UK finds himself, well, the gap's not really come down this time around, so maybe just Signic starting to respond to that, trying to create a 3-second gap, which might save him and still hand him the podium. UK knows that the podium is up for grabs there. Dylan Toe not too far off, 2.5 seconds behind UK. If he finds himself within 3 seconds of Signic, that might be a free position at the end of the race. But for now, UK pushing hard there into turn 1. He will get ever so much closer into getting the DRS from Signic. Big Man Joe, in the meantime, still the gap is just hovering around 3 seconds, so not much has changed up front, Sartek. So what do you think might be going on in their mind right now with 7 laps to go and win Big Man Joe?
Yeah, I think more so with Big Man Joe, he'd want to recharge his battery for any kind of challenge he can mount on the last lap. Again, here you're hedging on the fact that maybe, just maybe, Envy is going to fumble, which probably won't be the case. Knowing Envy's past performance last couple of races and this whole season, in fact, I think we can happily say that at the end of this race, he's arguably sealed the championship. But yeah, who knows? We've still got about 7 laps left of this race. Big Man Joe's still within 3 seconds. He's on the back foot with ERS, and he's got a full tank almost. Signig, not really a threat for the front runners. Has a penalty to his name. UK comfortably can stay in the position that he's in. And as you can see on the board, folks, KDB, a desperate attempt to close the gap. That is arguably impossible, but if anyone can, it's KDB. At least make the jump on his own teammate. Softs 2 laps out, 29 seconds the gap now from 33 seconds.
Impossible task, one would say, unless that's a 5-lap shootout, the usual Bwoah Racing League tradition in the last 5 laps. A 3-second penalty will probably ruin Envy's day, so Big Man Joe hedging his bets on that fact, and now finally starting to find a little bit more pace with 6 laps to go. 2 tenths found in this lap alone. And 10th more as he goes through the corners. I wonder if Taiwan might be kicking in a little bit for good old buddy Envy. He lost another 10th there, so that's not ideal for him. So Big Man Joe can see that gap coming down quickly within a lap.
Yeah, and he's not being, really cautious about ERS either. He's deploying it as and when he can. So his goal right now might be to just catch up with Envy, beat him out on track, and see if he can really get that track position before the checkered flag. But yeah, let's not forget he's still got a full tank in terms of ERS. 12 laps on the hards for the front runners. Sicknick to follow suit, 14 laps. And UK Dylan to again on the hards. Abi fellow Kubarabi, bit of a stagnant race for them right now. P6 and P7 respectively. The positions they arguably started at, I think they got like a single bump in position, I'd like to think. But yeah, by the looks of it, things are going to get as it is in Hungary time and time again, which is a bit more lukewarm, as I like to call it.
3-second penalty for Envy Sartak. Wow, we definitely caught that. And now that's all the motivation Big Man Joe will need to win this race. Thanks to that penalty that Envy has picked up. So fumble there by Envy. A rare fumble indeed. And Big Man Joe, for the first time, he might see himself winning a race.
Yeah, I call it lukewarm for a reason, there's always a possibility of something like this happening. And I don't know if you're on board, Big Man Joe, but we did see KDB go incredibly wide. I imagine that is KDB or Gouts.
It is KDB unlapping himself against Big Man Joe with those soft tires for now. So definitely a distraction for Big Man Joe as we were riding on board with him in the middle sector, but thanks to that he gets a dose of DRS on the pit straight and coming out of turn 1 as well. So well, if you've lost some time, you gain back some through this DRS. So I guess no love lost there for Big Man Joe.
But you can already see Davin, the Envy is going full on defensive in his own right up ahead. He's emptying his ERS. He stored it up for a situation like this, and the situation has arisen. He's clearly deploying as much as he can to hold that 3-second gap. It needs to be beyond 3 seconds to ensure this win here at Hungary for Envy. Sicknick, however, in his own world down in P3, he's probably not got that podium seal. Streeter in the back of the pack picks up a 3-second time penalty, and the gaps remain the way it is. Big Man Joe should have probably, before the last couple of laps, last 5 laps or so, recharged his battery and held on to that 3-second gap.
Yeah, he's pushing every corner. He's just deploying every little bit of battery that he has left in an attempt to close up the gap. But Envy has almost half a tank left to keep himself safe, like you said. So it's not over just yet. Big Man Joe could find himself in trouble if he runs out of battery, runs out of pace, runs out of tires in the last 4 laps here. Envy crosses the line to start lap 32. We have 4 laps to go, folks. Envy with a 3-second penalty. 6 tenths the gap is it's what Big Man Joe will need to get his first race victory in this season. UK, well, is within 3 seconds of Sicknick, so there's not much for him to do. Dylan Toe, all he needs to do is find 2 more seconds to get that P3 away, P4 away from Sicknick in some sorts. And we have
3 laps in a miracle, you could say, for Big Man Joe at this point. He's emptied his ERS completely. He's trying his best to stay within a second of the KDB, trying to benefit off the DRS on the mainstay, but he's struggling to do that. By the looks of it, he could be within a second, but yeah, then again, you want a bit of ERS. While he can go full recharge mode of sorts for the next couple of laps, Envy still got half in the tank. I'd reckon it's same as it started with that even before the 3-second time penalty for Envy.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that 6 seconds, 6 seconds? No, the 6 tenths, the 7 tenths now is starting to build up corner by corner, giving him a bit more confidence to push and keep that gap. Still though, 3 laps to go at the start of this lap, and it's not over just yet. Another 3-second penalty might just not help Big Man Joe, not help Envy in any way. So yeah, all he has to do is keep it clean, keep that gap above 3 seconds and growing if possible to get his another win in Bwoah Racing League.
It's not quite too early. We still got about 3 laps, and looks like he won't have the aid of DRS either, Big Man Joe, at this point. 5% ERS in the tank. He's deploying desperately, but a second's gap. Now you could arguably not worry about that 3-second gap and talk about that single seconds gap to Envy that's being a hindrance in his hopes of possibly winning this race. But yeah, Envy comfortable up ahead. Still got about 30% ERS left. 2 laps, 3 laps left. Yeah, you can. Perhaps you're being a bit ambitious, but not too ambitious enough to call it a race win towards Envy. I'm quickly going to take a look at the stats to see if it's probably his championship being sealed as well.
Yeah, that might just be the case with 2 laps to go, as we have been riding on board with him for a considerable amount of time. Dishy is at the back of the grid. Nah, that's just his ghosted car battling with Mr. Vex. Gauts has pitted for fresh tires, soft tires here, so he will be going for a fastest lap attempt, and fortunate enough to get some DRS from the lap. Well, he's been lapped, so he's getting some DRS assistance from Big Man Joe. Pretty sure Big Man Joe will not appreciate this distraction of a ghosted car right around him at this crucial stage where he wants to be catching Envy, and that is not helping Big Man Joe in any way or so.
So we got about 6 races left after this one, and I'd imagine Big Man Joe optimally 25-6. Okay, I'll do this math, Davin. The mic's all yours.
Cool. While the match's being done by Sartak over there, let's turn back our attention to Big Man Joe, who found 4 tenths in the first sector and suddenly has lost 6 tenths now, and the gap grows even more to Envy. Envy is finally stretching his legs towards this lap and a half. Still, anything could happen with a lap and a half to go, a lap and a bit to go. Envy will just have to round up this corner and start the final lap, bring it home, but not too safely, because that 3-second gap, that 3-second penalty will come to bite him in the end. 1 second is his buffer right now.
I think the math's been done well and good. Arguably sealed the title long back, Envy, but we'll call it here regardless of this last lap around the Hungarian GP. Yeah, it's the final lap. Not much to talk about. 4 soft runners spitting at the last lap, perhaps to snatch the fastest lap. Trying their best to secure that single point that will mean a bit more in the title fight. Mind you, it's not just for the top spot, it's for the top 3 spots. And with Andre's absence, that's still an open spot for someone to occupy. Big Man Joe, of course, sits number 2 in the driver's title fight, with Andre number 3, who's been absent for the most part, Gauts number 4, and Sicknick number 5. Cuba will be close behind. So the Hearts drivers have been doing an impeccable job together, but most of them are coming out of Sector 2. What a season's been for Envy, Dalvin.
Indeed, and well, a few more corners, I think he will be happy to have done a wonderful job at the start and the middle of the season. But yeah, his championship winning corner is coming up here.
Yeah, last final corner to wrap up not just the Hungarian GP, but Envy across the line. The checkered flag for him, not only as a race winner in the Hungarian GP of Season 6 of the Bwoah Racing League, but as champion once again. Big Man Joe comes home to finish P2 in the Hungarian GP, and as Sicknick crosses the line with that time penalty, he'll be dropped down to P4. And folks, with that, I'd imagine UK onto the podium. And in the same race, we announced Envy winning the championship. It's a full-blown out Bwoah Racing League Champions podium with Big Man Joe and UK on step number 2 and 3.
Oh, then 2 across the line with a broken wing there, and almost being caught up by RB Fellow, who has a 5-second penalty, fortunately. So he will come home in P6. Strong showing from him. Possibly some few poor laps at the start, which might have costed him a position or 2 at the end. Nevertheless, strong drive. Cuba Rabi, another driver who had a strong start, and well, he will come across the line on the soft tires, so he might be going for the fastest lap at the end. Can he snatch it down? No is the answer.
Yeah, what a season it's been, and it's not over just yet. I'd like to think with the driver of the day being handed to KDB. Surprising there, despite that front wing being lost, he tried his best on those softs at the tail end of the race itself. And yeah, I'm hoping to see him in the title fight next season, but it's not over yet for top two. I mean, the number 2 spot, number 3 spot. But if you sum up NV's season itself in a single phrase or a single word, Davin, why don't you take a winger at it?
Dominance, I'd say.
Alright.
Dominance is the word. P1 pretty much almost all the races, and the races where he has not been on the top step of the podium, he has kept it pretty clean and consistent to score points in every race and bring home the championship with 6 races to go. 6 races to go? Yeah, 5 races to go as we end the season on 22 races, I believe. And well, I think he can start to check some things off his bucket list. Perhaps last to first challenge for the remaining races. That would spice things up for us in the comms box as well. But for now, as you can see, Envy, well, for the nth time, wins another race in the Bwoah Racing League season number 6. Hungarian GP top step belongs to him. Well done.
Yes, my man KDB picks up the fastest lap. But I guess that there we can wrap it up. What a driver's title fight it's been. And of course, the constructor's title fight I need to look at. I think it could have been sealed as well. But then again, we'll talk about it perhaps next race as we head, of course, straight to Singapore. Would you look at that? Singapore, Mr. X's favorite. Hopefully, he has a better outing there. Your thoughts on Singapore, we'll hear next race out. But Davin, I think we can wrap it up. And what a race it's been.
Indeed, Hungary, always a treat as usual. You know, high downforce circuit, tire wear, tire temps, everything comes into play. And surprisingly, no safety cars, no big crashes. So drivers are somewhat finding it a bit easier this time around on Hungary. Let's hope we get a little bit more action next time out in Singapore. Noisy neighbors, as I like to call it. We'll see you then.
Yeah, cheers, folks. See you next weekend.